以上がこの事件の大まかな全貌です。はっきり言って全ては俺が元凶ですわ。皆さんはそれに巻き込まれただけに過ぎません。申し訳ない。お詫びのしようもないですわ。
正直ケビンさんがなんでそこまで恐縮するのか私にはわからないんだけど。
話を聞く限り和を失った影の国が死を求めるのは必然ならば、君がいようがいまいがそれに相当する事件は必ずや起こったに違いない。
確かにね。おそらく他の誰かが選ばれてその人物のトラウマを反映した影の国が誕生しただけさ。
And well, pretty much everyone has some kind of trauma in them. I can only imagine how awful this place would have become if, say, it latched onto Weissman.
お前が選ばれた時のことを考えると正直ゾッとしないがな。それだけでも行幸というものだ。
失礼な。少しは信用してくれたまえ。せいぜいここにいるみんなで朱地肉林のパーティーでも繰り広げる世界になったくらいさ。
こいつは
あんたね冗談じゃないよ。
シャレになってないわね。
そういう問題なんですかね。
Admittedly, I would kind of like to see what the inside of Olivert's mind looks like.
別にお兄さんのことかばうわけじゃないけど。
Wait, Ren, you just called him Onisan. That's probably a sign of something, I guess.
ある意味影の国に選ばれたのがお兄さんだったのは幸いだったかもしれないわね。それは一体。お兄さんの成婚はかなりの支配力を持っているわ。影の国が曲がりなりにも秩序を保っているくらいにはね。でも果たしてそれが他の人のトラウマだったりしたら。
カオスを制御しきれずに影の国が暴走していた。その可能性もあったわけだね。
And Ren as well. Now imagine if Phantasma had latched onto Ren's trauma. I don't even want to think about what this place would have become. And something I also realized is that, I mean, it's awful that Kevin created this entire world to torture himself, but in a way, that also limits the damage Phantasma could do to anyone unrelated to Kevin, because really it's only concerned with punishing him and the people close to him. If, say, Phantasma latched onto somebody who actually wanted to hurt other people, maybe things would have been a lot worse.
さすが話が早いわね。その場合、もっとたくさんの人が取り込まれてた可能性もあるわ。
Yeah, exactly.
それはそれで楽しいお茶会になりそうだけど。りんちゃん、さすがにそれは勘弁してほしいんですけど。
そういう意味でも気に病む必要はないだろうさ。
立場も違えば生き様も違う。だがこの場にあって我々はすでに運命共同体だ。
そうそう、困った時はお互い様ですよ。それに輝く輪に関してはリベール王国の問題でもあります。むしろケビンさんの方こそ巻き込まれた側かもしれません。
そういう意味でもケビン殿、これまで通りぜひとも我々を導いてほしい。半年前のあの事件を本当の意味で解決するためにも。
This really is the true finale of the Sky Arc.
皆さん
まったくあんたらほんまアホやな。 揃いも揃ってお人よしすぎるっちゅうか。こっちは最初から最後まで利用するつもりだけやったのに、なんでそんな。
ケビン。
ケビンさん。
人間諦めが肝心って言うし、私たちに関わったのはケビンさんの運の尽きってやつね。僕たちっていうより強引だしおせっかいだし、逃げても食らいついてきそうだし。なんですって
ま、確かにそれは言えてるかもしれないわね。
レンも同感よ。それだけお姉ちゃんがすごいってことだと思うし。
私たちまとめてエステルちゃんの影響を受けちゃってるんだろうね。
もう
でも確かに揃いも揃ってアホなんだろう。これだけ状況が厳しいのに切羽詰まった感じがしねえからな。
これだけのメンツがここに集まっているのだからね。今ならエレボニアを国家転覆することだってできそうな気がするよ。
I mean, you know, if you tried that now, potentially a lot of stuff could be averted, just saying.
また貴様は微妙な発言を。
降参や。改めて今度は本当の意味で改めてよろしくお願いするわ。
こちらこそよろしくお願いします。
いずれにしても俺らがすべきことはもうはっきりしている。影の王ルフィナ・アルジェントを止める必要があるってことや。
当然そうなるだろうな。
しかしケビン君、君たちが落とされた煉獄に彼女はいなかったんだろ？
ケビンさんたちが落とされた後、そのまま消えてしまいましたし。
そうですな。
少なくともあの場所に姉様の気配は全然感じられなかった。もしいたとしたら絶対に姿を現したと思う。
そうやな。しかしそうなると姉さんは一体どこに行って。
その疑問になら私が答えられると思います。
I was waiting for you to show up.
始祖様。
She's kind of one of us too now.
セレストさん、さっきはほんまありがとうございました。
あのままでは私もケビンも無事ではいられなかったと思います。本当にありがとうございました。
いいのです。影の王に囚われていた以上、私もあなた方と同じ立場。
I really like the echo effect in her voice.
仲間の一人としてそのくらいはさせてください。
Oh, that's exactly what I was saying before.
おおきに。それはそれとして疑問に答えられるっていうのは。
ええ、影の王の居場所をやっと掴むことができました。
え？
本当に？
もしかして今までそれを調べていらっしゃったんですか？
ええ、第七聖層を調べる過程で現在の影の国の全貌をおおよそ掴むことができました。影の王は現在聖層の外側にいるようです。
聖層の外側？それってどういう場所なんですか？
聖層とは影の王が影の国の中心に作り上げた多層的な構造物のようなもの。その構造物の外側にも影の国は続いているのです。もっともそれは現在何もない荒野のような形で放置されてしまっていますが。
何もない荒野？
随分と漠然とした話だな。はっきりとした居場所はつかめてねえのかよ。
いえ、大体の場所はわかります。しかし問題が一つ。その荒野ですが、途方もなく広すぎるのです。おそらくは大陸規模の広さではないかと。
Yeah, this line has actually been shared around quite a lot as an example of how the localization kind of embellished a lot of Estelle's lines that were really just what in Japanese, but it gets the same sense across.
それはかなり厳しそうですね。徒歩で行くとなると一体何ヶ月かかることか。
移動手段は他にないものでしょうか。
そうですね。私が行使できる力では正直難しいかもしれません。石碑によるアンカーもここから離れすぎた場所には打ち込めませんし、
仮に徒歩ってことになると宝石が使えない以上補給もままならなさそうやな。
何十日分の食料、さすがに現実的じゃないかも。
Especially since you'd use a few months of those on your own.
こいつは参ったな。向こうがこちらに来ない限り打つ手はなしっていうことか。
なんだ、気になることでもあるのか。
はい、アルセイユが使えないのかなって思って。
何？
アルセイユ、第一清掃にあった偽物か。
はい、この影の国って人の願いが反映されるんですよね。確かにあのアルセイユは偽物かもしれないですけど、形状や構造を含めてみんなよく知ってる船ですし、イメージは十分だと思うんです。みんなで一緒に願ったら動かせるんじゃないかなって。さすがに無理ですよね。
I love it when somebody just says something half jokingly and it turns out to be the best idea anyone in the group's ever had.
願うだけで動くなんて、そんな技術者らしくもない。ティータ、それとってもいい考えかもしれないわ。
But Ren was able to do that with Partamata. Why wouldn't it work for an airship?
確かにイメージが確固としたものであるものほどこの影の国には再現されやすい。ユリアさんは言うまでもなく、ティータちゃんも構造には詳しいし。
あり得る話かもしれません。
And it is the, so far, fastest airship ever built. I mean, it can probably cross all of Zemuria very quickly, and that's exactly what we need now.
黒の箱舟が再現されている以上、飛行船がダメということもないでしょう。
I mean, it would also be pretty awesome to fly the Black Ark, too.
セレストさん、どうかな。
確かあなた方はリベルアークに乗り込むときあの船を使ったのでしたね。ならばその時のイメージをフィードバックさせれば。
Yeah, it's also, lucky that we were flying that around where the Oriole was, because that means that Phantasma's probably got records of that in its system.
ええ、可能だと思います。あなた方全員が乗り込めば白き翼は必ずや蘇るでしょ
う。ほんまですか？
信じられない。お手柄ね。すごいじゃない、ピーター。
ちょっと待って。じゃあオートの港に止まってる山猫号も動くわけ？
そうか、それもあったね。
そうですね。そちらはどれだけの方に馴染みがある船なのでしょうか？
乗ったことがあるのは 彼女と僕くらいですか？
私と知らねえ。それとオリビエも戦争に忍び込んだ経験ならあるけど。
ああ、定期戦強奪事件の時ね。
今となってはいい思い出だね。
それだけですと動かすのは少々難しいかと。白き翼を蘇らせるのを優先した方がいいかと思います。
Of course, even in the story, Josette keeps getting screwed over.
そっか。
しかしいずれにせよ願ってもない話です。早速準備を整えてアルセイユに向かいましょう。
そうだな。
そうと決まればいろいろと忙しくなりそうだ。
ただし一つだけ、もしあの白き翼で影の王のいる場所まで向かうとしたら、もうこの庭園には戻れなくなってしまうでしょう。
宝石の転移ができなくなってしまうのですね。
ええ、その宝石の転移機能は庭園から離れすぎてしまうと働かなくなってしまいますから、もし出発するのであれば覚悟していただく必要があります。
そっか。
こいつは一度全員揃って鍛え直す必要があるかもしれんな。
そうですね。足手まといにならないようウォーミングアップしなくっちゃ。
各地の扉を開けるのもこれが最後の機会というわけか。
そんなら一旦俺も先導から外れますわ。必要があるなら宝石や聖杯手帳の使い方も教えます。みんな悔いの残らへんようできる限りのことをしましょうや。
So this is basically the game telling you that we're at the final dungeon, so if you want to do any side quests, any side content, training, making quartz, any of that last minute stuff, do it now. And also, we can do it with any party we want. Kevin is no longer required.
No problem. Shall we?
And that's what it sounds like if you put him into the party. You would already know those voice clips if you played Sky SC, though. So yeah, we're free to choose whoever we want here. So, like, for example, I could just choose Josette to lead the party. And then let's do random for the others. I knew that Kevin would show up if I did it randomly. I want to see what he says in the garden. Just gonna pick some random people here. Also, this music is amazing. However, you may have heard this song before if you're playing along. Don't worry, I will show the moment where this song is supposed to play for the first time at some point.
俺みんなに言いたいことがあんねん。こんな事件に巻き込まれても文句言わんと付き合ってくれて、俺のあんな話真剣に聞いてくれて、せやけどそれはみんなで無事脱出してからや。その時まで取っとくわ。
Kevin's still keeping stuff for himself until the end. There are a few things that we need to do in the garden, though. One of them involves talking to Celeste, but I'll leave that for, I'll leave that until after this, because I think I actually want Kevin and Reese in the party for this, because this is something we've been working on since the very start of the game. Or at least since we got into Phantasma for the first time. So, in fact, let's just take the exact party we got for the first time. Remember that thing that I've been saying throughout the entire game about how, you know, not running from any battle until almost the very end gets you something? Well, this is it. There's something shining in the water.
決戦に赴かんとする者たちよ、汝300の戦いを経て我が前に戦場における業を示す。戦場における業、すなわち勇気ある者、 または臆病なる者を指す。戦いを放棄すること一度としてなし、汝らを勇気ある者と認め、ここに祝福を与え。
So I think you can, once you reach this point, if you've already fled before, it now tracks the next 300 battles, and if you don't flee from those, you'll get this, but come on. Are you seriously expecting somebody to get this far into the game, right before the final dungeon, and then decide to do 300 more battles? It's just, yeah. I prefer to work on this throughout the game, and that means never running until you get to this point, which is kind of bad, but at the same time, honestly, it wasn't actually that bad. And for that, we get what is, in my opinion, the better of the two rewards, Mirror, and the achievement Fierce Fighter. And now, I'm going to show a file I prepared earlier, my Nightmare file, where, fittingly, I fled from 300 battles and got the other reward. So, here's a file I prepared earlier. You'll see that there's still a sparkle in the waterfall. However, if we look at my Graal's Ritter notebook, I have fled 310 battles. So, if we go and examine this now... You have run away from many fights. You have proven your cowardice. I will bestow upon you a blessing. Well, good thing this isn't like Korn from Warhammer 40k, because if this was the case, the blessing would just be death. But, no, in this case, the blessing is the Reflect Quartz. And we also get the achievement Flighty Fighter from that, which is worth unlocking just for the amazing artwork. So, what the Reflect Quartz does... It's a water quartz that provides 8 water, 6 wind, and 4 mirage, and it reflects magical damage with 50% success, but it does lower your EP by 30%. The main use of this is that by having both water and wind elements in it, it gives you access to a lot of healing arts, and that can be useful, especially if it's on a physical attacker who doesn't mind the negative 30% EP reduction. Because, you know, healing is just as effective no matter who it's on, given that it doesn't actually take into account your magic stat. So, we've seen what the other one does. What does Mirror do? Well... Level 3 Quartz has a pretty good amount of elements on it. Reflect physical damage with 50% success. Max HP minus 20% is actually pretty severe, but... That's a small price to pay for reflecting the vast majority of attacks 50% of the time. Like, most attacks in the game are physical-based. However, there is something I have to warn you about this quartz. If, for some reason, maybe New Game Plus or other shenanigans, you have this quartz while fighting Cassius Bright. Rather fittingly for fighting Cassius, if you get hit by, what is it? It's, yeah, the one that delays, Rend Armor, or Armor Rend, that attack. If you get hit by that, while you have the Mirror Quartz, the game will crash. I'm not kidding. Cassius is so powerful that his attacks being reflected causes reality to explode. We've got plenty of time to listen to everyone in the garden because I'm not going to be heading to the final battles just yet. Because the other thing we have to do here is talk to Celeste to unlock something.
そういえば、一つ報告することがあります。第7戦争ですが、ケビン殿たちが落ちた場所以外も大規模な領域を確認できました。
If you've been paying attention to the monster notebook, you could have guessed this was the case because there's a lot of question marks still in the guide for the 7th plane.
おそらく悪魔と呼ばれる適正概念が徘徊する危険な領域。念のためアンカー、石碑を打ち込んでおいたので、宝石で確認してみてください。転移できる場所が一つだけ増えているはずです。
The Abyss is now accessible. It is now possible to warp to a new area of the 7th plane through the warp menu. This area contains countless powerful enemies, devils included, making it the perfect place to efficiently level your party members. Now, there is a reason why they're giving us an area like this late into the game, and that's because for the final dungeon, you are forced to use everyone, including Josette. So you will want your whole party to be maybe about level 130 before you go in. Fortunately, the Abyss is quite an easy place to train people. So who here is really behind in levels? Looks like Mueller is the low. Oh, and Zian. I guess I'll bring. No, I'll bring Mueller. So yeah, Mueller's pretty low level. I'm just gonna go into the Abyss briefly with Mueller to show how it works. Also, probably a good thing if you upgrade everybody's slots to level 3, because, yeah. Also, you're gonna have to be soon making enough quartz, like high-level quartz, to cover every single person in the party. Like, everybody is gonna need to be fully equipped. And we cannot do the trick we did in the third plane, where we just de-equipped everyone at the end of their respective routes, because, well, okay, I don't want to go into too much how the final dungeon works, but basically, everybody ends up going to the end of their own paths, and then fighting, their own final bosses, all in a row. So no room to remove equipment. Everybody has to be fully prepared. You might also notice something. There is still one door we haven't found yet. It's in the Abyss, at the very bottom of the Abyss, too. I'll be talking about how I plan on getting to the bottom of the Abyss after this, because firstly I just want to show, in general, what you mainly use the Abyss for, because you don't need to go very far into the Abyss to reap the main rewards. All you really need to do is just go into the very start of it, and then just fight enemies at the very beginning repeatedly until you level up everyone. You honestly don't even need to do that, because the way this game's rubber band experience formulas work, it means that even if you go into the final dungeon underleveled, it's pretty much impossible to be underleveled for the final battles. Also, yes, Masquerade of Lies is back. Also, we were finally allowed to flee from battles now, but I want to show the experience we're getting here. Yeah, so Kevin's got his old voice clips back, but with his serious mode voice. But as you can see, the enemies here are worth a lot of experience to people who are underleveled. So they'll quickly catch up to the others in the party. But again, you don't really need to do this much. Now, another facet of the Abyss are these Grimoires, which I am going to. It's going to take me a while to waste all my turns because we have way too much speed. These Grimoires, like always, transform into party members, but they can transform into any member of the party. So right now we have Doppel Richard and Doppel Chloe, and if we defeat these doppelgangers... Oh wow, Doppel Richard seriously has just as low delay as his normal self. That's hilarious and terrifying. Does Petrify work on you? It does! Great! But again, I don't want Vanish. That's a great way of getting rid of these doppelgangers easily. And with them petrified, you can actually very easily control who you kill them with, which is great for making sure you kill them with the Luck Quartz on, and the Phantom Thief's Cape, because those only work for the person who gets the killing blow. Because these Doppel enemies here are special. Yeah, you can see Doppel Chloe and Doppel Richard here, but if you look at this, Hotarukiri +1 and Hotarukiri, and you drop Vorpal Sword +2, Vorpal Sword +1, and Vorpal Sword. The doppelgangers you can find in the Abyss drop what are essentially what I would call the penultimate weapons for every character. There are technically stronger weapons that we'll be getting access to as we go further into the Abyss, but they, well, they're limited per playthrough. You can only get 4 per playthrough. Whereas you can, if you're willing to grind a lot, you can get as many of these weapon drops as you want. So for the majority of characters, these will be the quote-unquote strongest weapons you can obtain for them. However, there are some characters who have other weapons that in my opinion are a bit better, like for example Reese, and I'm going to be talking about that in more detail a little later. In addition to that, the Abyss also contains enemies that drop the, again, quote-unquote ultimate armors in the game. The same ones that we fought in Gehenna, actually. I also found out that the like ultimate shoes +2 actually give +20 speed and better defense than the I'm actually going to get out of the abyss right now. Than the heat-resistant boots. So they actually are better, but I've never got them to drop before, because the drop rates are in fact ludicrously low. You really need Josette's remote ability, the Luck Quartz, and the Phantom Thief's Cape to have any chance of getting these. But this is where you farm for, again, the kind of ultimate equipment in the game. And I say kind of ultimate because Reese, I was mentioning this before. You might notice here that Reese has over 2,000 ATS. How the heck did that happen? Well, it's one, because I'm stacking 2 Crimson Eyes, and 2, because of this thing. This Templar sword that we got from Gehenna is ridiculous. That plus 200 ATS basically means that she has her own exclusive Crimson Eye, which makes Reese one of the best casters in the game, in the late game. Possibly even better than Ren, just because of this weapon. And in fact, the ultimate female exclusive armor that drops from Bennu Nucleus gives an increase to ATS as well, while the male counterpart doesn't. So Reese can theoretically reach incredibly high amounts of ATS, and that's what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to be setting up Reese as a full-on caster, and then going back into the Abyss with a different party of choice. How in the heck does Richard not have all of his slots open? So that's how you'll probably use the Abyss normally. But if you want to get all the way to the end of the Abyss, well, I'm personally going to be doing it this way. I'll be using this party, and the theme of this party is complete and utter physical S-craft domination. The reason for that is that there are 4 areas of the Abyss, and each one ends with a Fiend battle. There is a trophy, well actually yeah, achievement for defeating all of the Abyss Fiends. Also, while I'm here, I'm going to set myself to your remote ability, and in fact, as much as I kind of like the double Crimson Eye setup, that's totally overkill. I want to actually equip the Phantom Thief's Cape on her, because with this much ATS, she's probably going to be killing the majority of enemies here. That one repels physical damage, so I can afford to go ham with my arts with her. Guess just Hellgate should finish this. The Divine Eye Quartz that she has on to give her as many arts as possible, it comes with the Luck effect, so I don't even need to give her the Luck Quartz, which is vastly outclassed by this point. So this is the maximum number of drop modifiers all on my arts nuke, while everyone else just saves their S-crafts. Well, they're giving items to fuel her her arts nuking. But yeah, I'm going to be doing this, hopefully defeating as many enemies with Reese as I can to see if I can get drops. And the reason why the others are here for physical S-craft devastation is there is a Steam achievement for defeating all 4 of the Abyss Fiends, and I think if you leave at any point, they all respawn, so you actually have to defeat all of them in one go. And the final Abyss Fiend? Let's just say for the last one, you really want just extreme physical S-craft damage. That's why I brought Estelle and Richard, because they have the strongest single-target S-crafts in the game. There's really no other way that you can reliably take down the last Fiend. It's possible to get all that way and just not even be able to damage them at all. It'll all make sense once you see what the last Fiend is. And I'm sure Reese will have plenty of CP to fuel everybody with her Holy Blessings, because she'll be getting so much CP off of her Arts Devastation. Yeah, the drop rates on a lot of these items are absolutely minuscule. I really don't fancy my chances of getting any of them. Supreme Hardbreak, and oh boy, True Luminous Divider. True Luminous Divider is often considered the most broken craft in the game. Also, there are chests in the Abyss, so if you haven't got the chest trophy yet, you can get more of a chance of getting it now, but they don't have chest messages. I guess I can get into this battle and show off why people think True, unless Estelle gets Deathglow here. Nope, it's resistant to that, as you would expect for a giant hellish tank that has a skull for a face. Oh, you're actually weak to time. Okay, then. Yeah, pretty much the only reason to use Spear of Lure at this point is if something is weak to time. And I can't show off just how broken True Luminous Divider is because Reese's casting is more broken at this point. Lucky Fangs are involved in quite a few good recipes. Okay, so here's True Luminous Divider. Its delay is practically nothing, and it's incredibly powerful, so yeah. Still, his S-Craft is going to be useful against that last enemy. So I'm going to be fighting everything, but obviously I'm not really going to be showing battles, since it's going to be just the same thing over and over again. And this party's going to end up leveling quite a lot, but I'll catch up everyone else to them soon enough. Also, we get to hear this music again, which I think is just... No, it's not called Reminiscence. That's the song that plays in the Astor house before everything goes down when you're inside the chapel. No, I think this song is just called The Abyss, actually. It only played for cutscenes and the one area of Gehenna with Weissman earlier, so I'm glad that we're actually getting to see... Getting to hear it for a real area. Mostly just healing items, but we're going to be, yeah, getting an enormous stock of healing items from all of these fights. Do those things drop anything worthwhile? I want to kind of check. Male beasts, not much except monster ingredients. And yeah, female beast is pretty much the same. Though they are good for, you know, getting your cooking ingredients going. This thing does drop one of Kevin's better weapons though, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can finish this thing with Reese. Okay, come on, Astor. Just a Curia Balm. I think these drop rate to something in the vicinity of like 1% or even less, so... Again, I really don't think I'll be getting most of them. Also, I want the chest detecting quartz on somebody here. Just to make sure I don't miss anything. Yeah, right now I just want to get down to the Fiend at the end of this place. Another Tiger Heart! The chest is empty. Oh, speaking of Tiger Hearts, Estelle has 2 of them because I'm kind of going all in on... Yeah, just massive single target S-Craft damage with her. And Richard and Joshua both just have CP recovery accessories. I will be using the Abyss to just talk about my general thoughts, like more thoughts on Kevin and how relatable he is, as well as some other aspects of this game that I haven't had the chance to address yet. But for this part, I wanted to leave it as mostly just the cutscenes leading up to the final chapter and the introduction to the Abyss. Always got to get those quotes though, because that's what counts for the achievement, even though I already have it. Okay, we should be getting close. Yeah, here we go. Okay, this area looks totally different. So, once you get down here, you can just walk right past the Fiend if you want to. There's really nothing compelling you to fight it at all. But we need to beat all of them for an achievement, and there's something else that you get from beating the Fiends too. A dangerous Fiend is lurking here. Well, I think we're more dangerous. Let's go. And we get to hear the Dark Stigma again. So we're facing Bloody Archers. Cries out when beaten, that's never a good sign. Along with Lucifuge. Basically a souped up version of the Skeleton Mages from the first plane. It has an enormous ATS stat, but the question is, will it even get the chance to use it? We'll see. Should I just Calamitous Blast everything? It's always a good place to start. Though I am probably going to have Joshua use his S-Craft pretty much immediately. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could probably just destroy this thing with multiple S-Crafts. I want to give it at least a chance to show off something it can do. This is a pretty good song too. I said at the start of this playthrough that Sky the Third might actually have my favorite OST of any video game. And, yep, there's the reflection quartz working. I say might because another game might come along the road that has an even better soundtrack. Like, considering that I'm a fan of the Xenoblade series and, you know, Fire Emblem and so much other things, then it really says something that this is the game that I think has the best soundtrack I've ever heard in a video game. But it is true, just all this, and what I love about this soundtrack so much is that I didn't I S-crafted with the wrong person there, oh well. I didn't expect the soundtrack to be this good. I went into this game expecting that almost the entire OST would just be reused songs. Because a lot of the areas were reused from the earlier Sky games. So that's just what I expected it to be. I just thought, oh, yeah, this is just a lazy game where they reuse assets. And that's what I expected of Sky the Third in general, but I'll go into that in more detail next time, because, yeah, I'll have more time for tangents then. For now, it's just mostly an introduction to the Abyss, and, if how I've been doing so far has been any indication, I don't want to get too complacent here, because I can easily get wrecked if that happens. Should Estelle be my guinea pig for how much damage this guy is actually doing? I guess Richard can try and pick off an archer. Yep, that's one archer down. Oh yeah, they cry out when beaten. And turn into undead dragons. That I wasn't expecting. So yeah, this guy actually does an enormous amount of damage, but at the same time, you should have more than enough tools to deal with him by this point. Yeah, so there now are Guryons, a dragon that lives on despite being reduced to a skeleton. And apparently it used to be a skeletal humanoid. Well, yeah, this is like the absolute deepest circle of hell, so pretty much all bets are off when it comes to logic here. I think I would rather just focus down this thing. In fact, I think I'm actually going to S-break Joshua now. Just to see if this finishes something off. Yep, it finishes off the main guy. And we get to see the fancy theme boss explosion again. Though, since Reese didn't get the final blow, we're not getting the increased drop rates. So, I believe you actually can respawn the Abyss Fiends by leaving and coming back. So it is, I think it's possible to farm. Again, like, I'm not like... I know I want this to be like an informative playthrough, so it kind of makes me a bit ashamed to say, oh, I'm actually not too familiar with this, but like, by the time you've got to the Abyss, there's really not a huge amount of stuff left to do in the game, so that's kind of my logic for not really knowing a whole lot about it. But yeah, in general, you're really strong at this point. You should be able to fight most of these enemies. There are some pretty cool, unique ones too, like again, these things. I don't get why there are skeletal dragons in here. And again, you don't want to get complacent because they hit very, very hard. Joshua has the physical quartz though. So, yeah, that's going to help. 30,000 HP on just a normal enemy. That's pretty insane. Oh yeah, I did make a lot of that tasty medicine, so let's go ahead and use that to bring Richard back. Actually, surprisingly quick how tasty medicine got outclassed. Do I don't have Silver Thorn, but I can at least try and pull these things into a corner, literally. How much health do you guys have left? Still, I could probably get rid of one of them with Dark Matter EX, maybe? Still leaves the other with quite a lot of health left. And let's pull them even further back. No, it's actually not quite gone. With their move debuff, okay, they can't get to us, that's good. And Estelle is still fainted. Okay, that thing's gone. Yeah, when they say cries out when defeated, I was not expecting them to turn into an undead dragon. Richard, miss. That is not a good sign. Though I have an idea, so do I have any more... I have another Swing Witch. If I use that, I can have him take the crit turn, which does mean he's probably going to die to poison here and not get the experience in the fight. Actually, no, he survived the poison and didn't end the fight, which both things I wasn't expecting. You're weak to this, but it's a much lower power art, so yeah, it doesn't quite do it. Well, yeah, Josh was getting his turn right now, so I can bring Richard back again. You should have way more than enough items to get through most of the fights here. And that should be over. Yeah, once you reach 130, the enemies in the Abyss kind of stop giving a lot of experience. For each fiend you defeat, though, you get a Zemurian ore. You can use this back at the garden to make the ultimate weapons for every character. Ultimate in the case of most people, not in the case of Reese, because, yeah, you can only get, I think, 4 Zemurian ore weapons per playthrough, and the vast majority of people just, oh, we can heal here, which is good. The vast majority of people just say don't bother with Reese's Zemurian ore weapon, because it's her Gehenna weapon with that plus 200 ATS is way better. Before I end this, I just want to see... Oh, you do actually drop, like, the best armor. Plus 3, too. I don't know what the drop rate on that is, but maybe I should be equipping the Phantom Thief's cape for those fights. But yes, I will be ending this trek through the Abyss now, and next time it will be more Abyss, along with some more just general talking about Sky the Third, so see you all then.